And of course, a lot of folks trying to get out in the gardens and things. You know, we got the harvest moon coming up soon.
Yeah, so it's warm enough to be outside.
I was going to say, it doesn't feel like it, but it is coming up soon. And of course, we could use some moisture out there, you know, as we get ready to kind of get the harvest, the crops. This is the latest drought monitor that just came in. The good news is we're actually not that dry out there. So, I mean, yes, it's abnormally dry, but notice the moderate drought is about 10% of the state. So you've got a little patchy area here in the West Desert, and then you've got another patchy area down towards Southwest Utah. But that's pretty much about it. So we're doing pretty good there. All right, let's look at the weather map. We actually had a little moisture. You see this here smattered about in the green trying to make its way in. High pressure allowing for some of that moisture to spin our way. It's from a weak disturbance off the west coast, but this thing is pretty weak. Now, with that being said, it's going to try to send a little extra oomph of moisture as we go throughout the day on Tuesday. So we may actually have a chance of seeing an isolated shower or two in spots. Let's walk you through that with Futurecast here as we go throughout tonight. You'll be able to see no real chance of any rainfall tonight, as anything that is going to develop is going to be high up in the atmosphere, and as it falls, it basically evaporates with all the dry air in place. So as we go into tomorrow morning, we'll wake up to some scattered clouds. Then in the afternoon, here comes that extra bit of moisture that could produce some scattered pockets of some downpours, primarily in the mountains and the higher elevations. There could be a downpour as you get over towards the high Uintas here in Duchesne County, which would be some great news because, hey, we got the fire going on over there. But I'm concerned about a little bit of dry lightning that could occur with this activity and some gusty winds. So we'll see what happens there. But there is a chance, at least, of a few isolated showers developing, especially in the higher elevations as we go throughout tomorrow afternoon, and especially between, let's say, I-70 and the I-80 corridor. Now, overall, we're tracking that weak disturbance, but notice it gives us that brief chance of showers on Tuesday, and then poof, it disappears as our heat dome builds back in, shoves the jet stream back off to the north, and we're back to just the warm temperatures and dry conditions. What we're going to be watching for is the potential of an upper level low to get going off the west coast of the United States. That may try to spin some moisture our way as we head into the second half of the weekend and into the beginning of next week. Fingers crossed, because obviously we could use some rainfall. As we look at our long range futurecast, here's tomorrow's disturbance. Again, not much in the way of any green showing up with that system as it moves on through. Just a slight chance of an isolated shower or two. But here comes that disturbance on Friday coming into the west coast. That makes its way into the Beehive State as we go into your Sunday and Monday, and potentially gives us a little better chance of a few scattered showers and downpours. I wouldn't get too excited about it yet, but it's a chance, and it's a slightly better chance than what we've seen in a little while, and it could start the beginnings of a more active weather pattern by mid-month. So we'll watch that for you closely. All right. Let's get you down here to the Gulf of Mexico. Of course, this 5 stands out to you. That is Milton. That is a Category 5 storm. Now, it's going through what we call an eyewall replacement cycle, where it kind of collapses in on itself, and then it usually tends to expand the wind field, and that's what we're going to see. So right now it's weakened down to winds of 165, but the pressures come up to 914 after dropping down to a record low below 900, around 897 earlier this evening. So it's weakening a little bit right now, but it will likely strengthen and become a little bigger as we go into tomorrow, as it replaces that eye wall. And then as it makes its way off towards the west coast of Florida, it's looking to take aim around the Tampa Bay area here. Depending on if it's north or south of Tampa will depend on who gets the biggest storm surge, but someone will get a storm surge greater than 12 feet, which will be life-threatening as that makes its way through, and the wind field will continue right on into the Orlando area in the I-4 corridor. So big story there. For us, it's all about the heat again. Mid-90s here for the beginning of the week here, and of course we've got the PGA Tour that kicks off on Thursday. Should be a pretty exciting time. The weather will be pretty good as well. And then notice as we get towards the Wasatch Front, slight chance of an isolated shower, but the bigger story, we'll keep an eye on that heat through the end of the week. Maybe a better chance of rain by the next weekend.
We're going to go down and pay Cannon Seacrest a visit.
Yes, yeah. I think he keeps trying to send us some of what he's got.
He did.
Yeah,
He's been doing a good job of it, too.
Yeah.